So in terms of a toxic cocktail, I think we can see a cocktail with four parts. If you think of a jigger and a mixed cocktail, one part is Putin's own megalomania, wanting to be great. One part is what the comment they made about him in the KGB when he was a young student. He says this in his own autobiography, that he has a lowered sense of fear, and I would argue a lowered sense of compassion. One part is grudges against Ukraine in general and Zelensky in particular. And one part is possibly overconfidence, thinking that he and the nation can ride this out. So if I unpack that a little bit, the four parts are all interesting in themselves. The megalomania comes from thinking of himself as Vladimir the Great. He's the ruler who's going to add territory to Russia the way the Tsars added territory to Russia. And the Tsars who got the title the Great in Russian are Peter the Great, Catherine the Great. They added territory. They won new ports. They built the country. So he will be Vladimir the Great. And it's not just that I'm imagining this. In 2015, they put up a statue to Vladimir the Great, 10th century ruler in the middle of Moscow, 50 feet tall. And the patriarch said to Vladimir Putin at the time, yes, you are Vladimirovich, which means Vladimir, son of Vladimir. This statue is really in your honor. He's Vladimir the Great. He's for the patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, Vladimir the Great baptized Russian, Christianized it. So now Putin is doing the same. He's extending the fold. For the question of the lowered sense of fear, I think he is not worried about the consequences. He assumes that the Russian people will tolerate whatever happens. And he's shown that he's willing to crush cities in Chechnya and in Syria, he crushed Aleppo. There's no problem using violence against citizens, however much he may say he's not going to do that. The grudges in Ukraine are enormous. He doesn't want them to be independent. And I think he's been overconfident. I think he thinks that the US will not, he thought, now he clearly disabused of that notion, the US would not react, Europe would not react, they would not be able to unify. For example, to block SWIFT, the visa credit mechanism, they had to have the unity of 27 European countries. Guess what? They got it, all 27, including Hungary, which had looked like it was going to be a holdout, came together and said, okay, this is egregious behavior. The problem is now he has, in order to make this work and not get protests at home, he also has to clamp down within Russia. So he's clamping down within Russia. He's clamping down within Ukraine, taking lives in order to hold this rather fragile coalition. I think the saddest thing is the degree to which Putin made it impossible to negotiate with him. By this toxic cocktail of motivations, it becomes very, very difficult to say what will make him stop, what will allow him to have an off-ramp. One commentator made the great point that he's made up so many fictions that if he wants an off-ramp, he'll find it. He'll create his own fiction. So we don't really have to go to all that effort to think of the fiction for him. But it has made it impossible to negotiate and very, very difficult to stop him as well.